and not in a bad way. So I get there, and we get there, the family gets there. I report in, I get my car, I go down there and I report in, and I go to the company, and the first sergeant wasn't there at the time. And, there were a bunch of incoming people. And the 3 platoon sergeants were in there, Holbrook, Cruz, and Martinez.
What's Holbrook's first name?
Brian. So, and then you had Christopher Martinez, and then you had this other guy, Cruz. So I ended up going to 3rd Platoon, which it is what it is, but why I was woefully and inadequately unprepared for this is the scope of responsibility, I would say, as a LRRS team leader going in. So they're like, hey, you're going to go to, Team 3-1, and you're going to be boom, boom. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So I go in there, and then I start reading through the LRRS manual, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm reading all this, and I'm like, wow. And I would go home, and I would read it and study it and absorb it, because I was good at, I was planning at the team and squad level and understanding platoon and company stuff. But now you're talking about planning and all this other stuff, your insertion, your flight routes and all this other stuff. So I had some good mentors, and, I don't know about the other companies, but Echo Company was like a feeder to SF. So, there's this guy, Hampton, that kind of mentored me, a guy named David Sapp and a McKinney, who's no longer with us, and a bunch of other good NCOs that had been there a while. So they PCS'd. We ended up going to Kosovo, and Eric Lane was our company commander, and Ray Devins was our first sergeant. And now that I'm older, I look back at stuff, and I'm like, he was right. So, and one thing sticks with me when we start talking about LRRS, and you're going to get a lot of people disagree with me. We're not the SAS, we're not SF, we're not any of those Tier 1 operators. It was sneak in, take footage, and run away. And that's what we did, without being compromised, sneaky guys, which comes up later. But you're still an 11 Bravo. You're a basic infantryman. And Lane was every company commander, every leader has a different flavor of leadership. And not better, not worse than anybody else, just different. So Lane's like, hey, this is the 7-8. This is the Infantryman's Bible, and it has a lot of good tips of what we need to do in LRRS. And at the time, there was a lot of resistance. Yeah, this is, we're LRRS, we don't need to do this. We're cool guys, we wear baseball hats and booties and stuff. But break contact's break contact, whether you're a rifle squad or a LRRS team. So, and that didn't hit me until, 12 years later, over a decade later. So, we trained up, we went to Kosovo, and I ended up going to 1st Platoon. So I had Martinez as a platoon sergeant, and I had Painter as a PL. And then that's where it just the wheels started going, light bulbs started going on, boom, boom, boom. And it was, I had, Devins was still the first sergeant, and Nell Nelson had come in and changed command with Lane. And then all of a sudden, it was, hey, this is how deliberate planning, because you're doing it in a real world environment now. You've actually got people out there who are looking for you to end your life. So I went in to be an assistant team leader under this phenomenal team leader named Seedig, and I just started, and it just started clicking, because I wasn't in charge of planning as a team leader. I was an assistant team leader learning all this, and he was just a phenomenal planner. And I just kind of absorbed it like a sponge, and boom, 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 just started rolling with it, and it was a phenomenal experience, which served me well later in life.